for us to learn and thrive. It's your girl Rachel, and I'm back again with another episode. So it's February. Happy Black History Month to all my beautiful Black people listening. And of course, Black history is an all year thing. We already knew this, but I hope you take this time to recognize the beauty of your Blackness, and honor the many ancestors that have came before us, contributed to this world, to this country we live in. And if you're not Black and you're listening to this, recognize the Black people in your past and that are here right now that are trying to make the world a better place. So today we're going to talk about HBCU life, and HBCU stands for Historically Black Colleges and Universities. And we're going to talk about that, what it's like attending one, and how to figure out if it's the right choice for you if you're like a senior or a junior trying to figure things out. So I don't go to HBCU. So I have some beautiful ladies here to talk about this with me. I have some wonderful HBCU students, Aleysia, Jordan, and Tiara, and they're here to share their experiences. So, hey everyone, how y'all doing?
Hey.
Hey, I'm
Hey.
good.
All right. So I'm so excited to have y'all here. It's going to be a really interesting discussion. So before we start, just each of y'all to introduce yourselves, like saying your name, your pronoun, and what HBCU you go to. And also what you study too, if you figure that out.
Okay, I'll start. So I am Tiara JC, a marketing major at Virginia State University. I am also a senior, which means that I graduate in May.
Ooh,
Yeah.
congrats, girl.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't know if Aleysia was gonna go next. So hi y'all. My name is Jordan McCrae. My pronouns are she, her. I am a sophomore strategic legal and management communication major at Howard University. Yeah, that's about it.
So, hi, my name is Aleysia Sylvain. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a sophomore sociology major, psychology minor from Brooklyn, New York.
All right. Thank y'all so much. So let's dive into these questions. So first, I want to ask, when you guys were seniors in high school, like what made you decide to go to a HBCU?
I can start on this one. So I went to a predominantly white high school, and HBCUs were kind of discouraged there. Like when I said I was gonna apply to Howard, my counselors were like, "You're going to apply where? Like, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Howard, you guys know." Like, but I really, honest to God, was just so tired of putting up with the caucasity all the damn time. I was like, I have to get out of here. They had my self-esteem in the dumps. I wasn't learning anything that was of interest to me. My classes, I felt like tokenized. So I was like, yeah, I have to do something and get out of this little cycle I'm in.
All right, I'll go next. For me, I made my decision in not in high school, but I made it in the 8th grade. My school took me to, I think, Morgan State. And it was just being at a place and feeling, like, wow, Black people are so great. And just seeing how much we could do. Like being in New York, we don't have a lot. I mean, we're diverse, of course, but there's no predominantly Black college here. So seeing that, going to another state and being able to see that just made me think, okay, this is what I want to do. Because all before, I was like, oh, I want to go to Yale. Oh, I want to go to this place. But going to an HBCU and seeing like the feel, and then going to my campus and just seeing how people get along and seeing how the students are like there for each other, it changed my whole view and made me decide HBCU was the way.
So, similar to Jordan's experience, I also went to an all white high school. And I don't know, I guess I just really wanted a change in dynamic. And I just got really tired of, I mean, I don't want to sound prejudiced, but I just got really tired of like being around white people all the time and not really experiencing like my culture. And I felt like I had to code switch a lot to fit in. But even then, I still applied to Ivy Leagues and I'd applied to all of these PWIs. And I went on tour for Yale. And I feel like that's when it really changed for me. Like when I just even though it was a beautiful campus, but I just didn't see any Black people. Like on my whole tour, the tour guide, I was the only Black person. So that's when I decided that I needed to tour some HBCUs, and I ended up touring Howard. I applied to more schools than Howard, but I only toured Howard, and that's when I just realized that like it was the place for me. It was the only place that felt like I should be there.
No, that all sounds great. Especially Jordan, when you're like the caucasity, like I totally feel that in high school. I went to predominantly white high school and the caucasity was rampant. It felt like a disease. I was like, I have to get out of here.
Yeah, so was it.
Um so I totally feel that. Um yeah, next question. Now that you've all been in college for a little while, you're sophomores, seniors, what's your pros? Like, what are the pros of HBCUs? What do you love most about them?
I kind of always felt like from the beginning, Howard was where I needed to be. Like Lacey said, as soon as I stepped on campus, it felt like I belonged, and that was something I'd never experienced. I'm somebody who, I went to private school as a kid, and then I graduated from public school, but in a kind of a not a ritzy area, but definitely upper middle class. So it was a lot of white kids, and it never felt like I belonged. I never found anybody who looked like me, and um, it kind of took a toll on my confidence as like a human being. So I got to Howard and I met girls like Lacey who were just like so confident, and it was like, wow, like the air about them, the way they step, I was like, this is where I needed to be all along. I mean, the energy on Howard's campus is crazy. It smells like cocoa butter and success. Like, wow, this is the Mecca. That's why they call it the Mecca.
Or I need that cocoa butter and success. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely I would say the school spirit, especially if you went to a school that like lacked in school spirit. Like if you're looking for a school that's gonna have a lot of events, never a dull moment, you're always gonna feel included, then I would say that's why like HBCUs, because there's such a big emphasis on like culture. So say if you went to a PWI, you're not gonna get that homecoming experience because homecoming is like, I don't want to say homecomings are synonymous with HBCUs, but HBCU homecoming is like the only homecoming that I'm going to acknowledge. So like PWI homecomings just don't have that same feel and that same community. And that's what it is, community. Like you don't constantly feel like you have to be somebody that you're not, because there's always someone that may be like you, and like you can fit in anywhere, like all the different clubs. It's just tons of diversity.
So to piggyback off of what Lacey said, I can definitely agree with the like school spirit, because I'll be outside wearing a Virginia State t-shirt or a Virginia State mask, and someone will literally stop you and say, oh my gosh, you go to my school, I graduated from there. And I think there's just like the pride is just it's so genuine. And it's like, you don't get that everywhere else. Like, yeah, everyone is prideful of the college that they graduated from, but it's just like to know that not only me, but someone else graduated from an HBCU is just so dope, because not a lot of people go to those schools because they have it in their minds that if you go to an HBCU, you will not know how to live in the real world. So, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Like the what all of you guys are saying, like having genuine connections, finding people that are the same vibe as you, that you are able to connect with, that could raise your confidence. Like I think that's what we all need right now. So I'm glad that you got that in your college experience. But I'm gonna shift it a little bit. So not every school is perfect. So, and I know people I talk to that have been to HBCUs, like sometimes they be sharing their issues with it, like there's financial aid issues, there's housing issues, even like social issues, because not all Black people are kumbaya together all the time. So what do you say like are the cons to being in a HBCU?
Okay, so the very first con that I would say, I cannot speak, I'm just going to speak for Howard because I cannot speak for all HBCUs across the board. Like, I don't want to say, boom, this is a con for, and then, somebody from another HBCU, like, no, my HBCU does not have that. So all I can say is that for Howard specifically, organization is like a big con. Like, they just need to be more organized. And it's just, I mean, I think it is very sad because it is an amazing school, but that can be a deal breaker for somebody who's a very organized person, or if you're somebody who needs like structure. Like you always have to be on top of stuff or you will get swept away, literally. Like you need to be on top of dates, you need to be on top of your financial aid, you need to be on top of emails, you need to be on top of professors. Even with like money, housing, all of that stuff is organization. It can just be like, it can all hit you at once. And it's, I don't want to say nobody cares, but like if you don't care to get things done and fix it, then nobody's going to be like checking on you like, hey, is this blah blah blah. Like no, you'll have to do it for yourself.
I definitely felt that. I mean, obviously we go to the same school, but they run on CP time on Howard's campus. Yup. If you're not riding them, they will completely forget you exist. Freshman year, first semester, they literally lost my refund check. And I was on them. It took
Oh,
being on them every day for 3 weeks, calling them incessantly, popping up in the office like, so who gonna do what? For them to find it. Because
wow.
it boiled down to organization. They were so unorganized that they had cut me a paper check and then tried to process a deposit with no adjoining bank information. How do you do that? If you were organized, that would
Mm.
have never even happened. So, I mean, yeah, it can get a little messy, not gonna lie.
So I can completely agree. From going from another HBCU, their organization is a mess. And I don't know, like Lacey said, if it's all HBCUs, but like my school, I've had to call them each and every semester to ask them where my scholarship is. I'm an honor student, so automatically I should receive my scholarship. And each and every semester, I have to call them and say, hey, I'm an honor student. I don't have my scholarship. And they'll give you the runaround. And literally, no one wants to help you, or they'll give you someone's number and they don't answer the phone, and you just back to square one. But other than that, another con I would say, huh, they say that HBCUs are not funded, right?
Mm.
And I feel that we pay so much money that we should be able to receive more than what we're receiving. Like, yeah, we're getting a great education or whatever, but for us to be paying so much, there should be more given. And when I say more, like, for example, I graduate this semester. I know nothing about graduation. They haven't told us anything. They told us we have to pay a graduation fee. Don't know what my graduation fee is paying for. Don't know when my graduation application is due. We don't know anything, to the point where our seniors have made a group chat complaining to each other. And now all of a sudden we're supposed to be having a town hall meeting tonight, but it shouldn't have taken the students to complain so much for this to be done. It should have been done on the faculty's hand, not on ours. So yeah, that's another con.
Tiara did not lie about that funding. Like you see the checks, you see the pictures and all the funding that comes to the school, and yet you're still in the bursar or in financial aid begging for scholarship money, which makes no sense to me, because that's a big argument with HBCUs. They don't get as much funding as PWIs, and I really feel like that's just not true. Like we be having the funding, I just think again, organization, the money doesn't go like where it needs to go.
Oh, absolutely, because Howard received, what was it, like $40 million from Jeff Bezos' ex-wife or some mess like that a couple months ago. And
Oh, for real?
yeah, I mean, if you, because they send us emails every time they get like large donations, and I mean, once a week you get an email about some large donation, and then you're looking at campus and you're like, don't get me wrong, Howard does have a very pretty campus, but there are buildings on that campus that are decrepit. It's like, when are you gonna fix this? It's been the one building, I can't think, Douglas. It was flooded like 3-4 years ago or something like that, and it has been sitting in its own moldy mess for I don't know how long. We don't have a student center, and Lacey can attest to this because we lived in the same dorm. At one point in time, we had no hot water, and they were like, "You're not gonna have hot water for the rest of the school year." And this is how you,
What?
yeah,
Rest of
wait,
the school year?
listen, girl, because this how you know HBCUs be BSing sometimes. So they were like, "Yeah, you guys are gonna have to just either deal with the cold showers because there was something wrong. We have like steam plant on campus or something else like that." And there's something wrong with the steam plant where the pipes are like the hot water is just not getting the CHN, or you can go to other dorms to shower, Well, I called my mom way back home in Pennsylvania and was like, "Hey, girl, this is what they're saying. I cannot live like this. I mean, you have to run the sink water and flush the toilet at the same time to get hot water if that's what you wanted, and your roommate would have to stand there and flush the toilet so you could get hot." It was ghetto as hell. So I
Wow.
called my mom back home and I'm like, "I can't do this." And she called right up to Wayne A.I. Frederick's office and was like, "So what are y'all gonna do about these? What probably 1,000 girls living in that building with no hot water?" And shit you not, by the end of the day, I had hot water in my room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was like you could have fixed it all along, but once again, I have to be on your ass for you to do your job.
Damn. Nah, that's wild. Like, what? They really were just gonna be like, no hot water rest of the semester. Y'all could just get frostbite. What?
And that's not even the first time they've ever done anything like that. Like the year, because I mean we were only on campus for but so long before COVID knocked us out. But the freshmen the year before us in that very same dorm didn't have water at all at one point in time, and were being like shuttled to other dorms around campus so they could shower. It's real wild.
Wow. Oh, that's wild. Like, but like Aleysia said before, it like they're only saying their own experiences, so y'all don't be like generalizing them or anything. Everyone's just saying their own thing. And I mean, I go to a more minority serving institution, and the financial aid office is just as ghetto. The scholarships, financial aid stuff is just as messy. So everyone has their own problems, but wow, that definitely I'll take a second there because that's a lot. But I did want to also shift a little bit and ask a question from the Instagram, which y'all could follow at College for the Culture. Someone asked, like, what aspect of my education will be enhanced by going to an HBCU compared to a PWI?
I would say the part about learning like where you're from. So I guess you could say the cultural aspect. Like at Howard, you're required to take I think it's a university requirement, so it's not just for your school, but you're required to take like African studies courses. Like everyone has to take it. So I mean, I think it makes sense if you go to a HBCU to have to take some courses, you know, in like African diaspora. So I think that that's a part of your education that gets enriched, as opposed to a PWI that might be optional or an elective. So you may not, you know, choose to do it. But at Howard, they force you to do it. I mean, I don't want to say force, but I think it's good because then you still, you know, you get to learn more about like your ancestry. And it's definitely different from what we learn in high school. We learn about a lot of whitewashed American history. So you finally get to be submerged in like, you know, Black culture for once.
Yeah, I agree with Lacey. Like, I didn't actually have ever a black teacher until I got to college, which is pivotal. Like the first time I ever saw a black professor, and his name Dr. Carr, he be going off. And so it was like, wow, it was really eye opening. We had to take this class called freshman seminar, and I'll never forget. We're sitting in there, and he was like, he said something along the lines of, yeah, because if I was alive when George Washington and Lincoln and all of them were alive, I would have killed them all. And I was like, whoa, this is kind of not radical, but it's like brutally honest. You have teachers that like get down on your level and they really talk to you. They know you. Like you don't have to code switch. You don't have to come across uber professional. They've been where you are. They know what it feels to be young black in America. So it's not, I don't know, it's a different level. I can't even explain it. You just have to experience it for yourself.
I feel that another thing that helps to enrich your education at a HBCU is that your teachers are there for you. Like they are there to support you. And I feel like all throughout high school, I was told, oh, when you get to college, your teacher's not going to be on you, blah, 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 blah. I mean, they're not on me, but they are there. Like they do check up on you. They do, if there's an opportunity, they'll reach out to you. Hey, I have this opportunity. I would love for you to sign up. I've had teachers who have pushed me into things where I've gone to competitions to represent the school. And it's like, I don't think I would have gotten that anywhere else. So.
Wow. That's all amazing. Like having teachers advocate for you, learning where you're from. I will say also, because I'm a Black Studies minor, so I love that you guys are saying this because I felt the same way, like going to Black Studies courses. I feel like if you're Black, take at least one Black Studies course, like because some of the teachers I've met that teach them like are like one of the best professors I've ever met. And especially if you're Black, like they're on your level. They know what you experience and they're not afraid to share how they feel. Now, I'm not, some teachers are a little crazy, but I know for the most part, like just look into it. Just look into it. Even just one elective, one course, an intro course, it'll blow your mind because teachers are they're not going to hold back. So I'm glad that you guys said that. And I wanted to ask, I know that you did talk about teachers being there for you, connecting you to different things, because I know that many people praise HBCUs because of the connections you get to Black alumni. Do you feel like that's been true in terms of networking and having different opportunities, whether it's like internships or jobs or anything like that?
So, yes and no. I would say no because we're not on campus, and I think being on campus makes it easier to make those connections to be able to get your foot in the door at places. But that has nothing to do with the HBCU itself or the networking itself. That's more Corona time, so we're adjusting to the times. But definitely yes. Like I go to the gym and I'll have on my Howard gear, just like I'm sorry, I didn't catch her. Tiara said, she goes out in her BSU gear, like, they're like, hey, I go there. So it's one of those things where it's almost an icebreaker and they want to see you do well. That's something that is so genuine about the Black professors I've met at on Howard's campus. They legitimately want to see you do well. They want to see you thrive. So they're not gatekeeping opportunities from you. And if anything, they're pushing you and they're pushing you and they're pushing you. So I definitely do think that there is that networking opportunity to meet other Black successful whether it be entrepreneurs, lawyers, doctors, whomever it is, to get your foot in the door. It's definitely there for you.
I agree with everything she just said. I'm not going to really add on to that, but I just want to make a disclaimer. Going to an HBCU does not mean that all your professors are going to be Black, because I got that. I found that out when I got to school. A lot of my professors are like Asian or Indian. Like they're from
Wow.
everywhere. Basically, they're hiring professors who are predominant in that field. So I'm a business major, so they're doing good in Japan or somewhere. So they'll get professors from there to come over here. So yeah, all your professors will not be Black. That's all I had to say.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely all your professors won't be Black because I didn't have like all Black professors. I did have a lot more Black professors though. Like I think this semester I only have one white professor. So, but I do think that like you get opportunities and definitely networking. I agree with Jordan in that like, it's hard with this whole Zoom situation, very hard to network. I mean, I feel like maybe the school still tries because they do send emails about like Zoom links and stuff like that for you to like get on and network, or like you could get on for job opportunities and stuff like that. But if you don't, it's not as easy as if you were on campus and you run into somebody. But you can still like definitely wearing your HBCU merch. You might run into somebody at the grocery store and like they might be like, "Oh, I'm an alum and I work at so and so and so." And then like say you're into law and like they work at a law firm. Boom! Now you just made like a networking
Wow.
connection. Like people on Twitter, on Howard Twitter, they tweet all the time about like, "Oh, I was at the airport with my Howard merch and I got an internship. I got blah 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 blah." And I'm
Wow.
always like, oh my God, well, I need to go to the airport in my sweater because but people joke about it all the time. It honestly hasn't happened to me. I can say yet because I have years to be wearing my merch, but yeah, I definitely feel like the opportunities are there.
Wow, that's amazing though. That's great. And I think which follows my next question, what Jordan said about being online. I wanted to ask, so we're going to be online for a little bit, This, I feel like this is not going to be the last we see Zoom. So how has your HBCU like handled being online? Has it handled it well? Are you doing what they're supposed to do or not really?
Honestly, it's definitely different, and it's definitely a new experience, and I don't even have anything to compare it to say that they are mishandling it. To In the precipice of my core, I know something is amiss. I'm like, this something here is not right, but I don't have anything to compare it to be like, hey, this is how other people are doing it.
Mhm.
It's definitely hard because there are professors who, if you were on campus, they would be having in-person classes, who are like, we're going to run this asynchronous, and for some people that works. For me, that don't work because
Yeah.
I need that interaction. I'm ADD, ADHD, like anxiety riddle type of person. So I need that structure that comes along with being in brick and mortar. And you tell me this asynchronous, I'm not going to touch that class for about 3 or 4 weeks. So, until we got a test in the group me, I'm like, oh my God, what happened? So definitely like those type of experiences. And not all of our professors are technologically savvy. I have a lot of
Mhm.
older professors who are like, I mean, they kind of hang us out to dry and they don't do it on purpose because they literally don't know how to work Zoom. I had an Arabic professor who was giving us quizzes and tests by holding the paper up to the camera last semester because he didn't know how to upload it to Blackboard. So you had to squint your little eyes to try to take a test in a completely different language. And it was like, no wonder half the class
Wow.
is not learning anything because you're holding a piece of paper up to the camera, you know? So,
Yeah, so like she said, we're not learning anything. I definitely do not feel that I am learning the proper way now that we're on Zoom. I mean, they're doing the best that they can do in some situations, but this is not very effective. And I'm not saying, be harder on us because that would be even worse. But some of my professors have like doubled the work that I know we would not be getting in class. They've like been really hard on plagiarism now and, cheating on tests because
Yeah.
it's easier now that we're online. But I feel like my school's also in person. They're like half in person, half online. So now like the teachers are on Zoom in the classroom with students in the class. It's a whole mess. But I mean, they're trying. So it's all they can really do at this point.
Academically speaking, I feel like definitely not, like it's just not a conducive environment to be learning in online. Like I'm just not somebody who learns well online. So it's like you do the work, you get the grades, and that's good and all to get A's. But I mean, I did go to college to learn. Like I am interested in the classes that I'm taking. So it is a little like saddening to me that like I do the work and I'm like, okay, well, I just submitted that, but I have no idea what I just learned and no idea what I just submitted. And it's not even like I want to teach it to myself because why am I paying a bunch of tuition money to teach it to myself? But then beyond academically, socially, I'm like suffering. I mean, thank God I made like my little 4 or 5 friends freshman year, and like I keep in contact with them, but that's it. There's no more like mingling, no more mixers. Like I feel like socially there's like nothing to do. It's really boring. That's like a big part of college too, and a big part of HBCU experience, like the parties, the nightlife, the events, and COVID and like the whole online experience is just totally just like took that out. So that factor is just non-existent now.
Mhm.
So even though, COVID is here and we are not able to have a social life, my school is trying. They've like had so many talent shows online, so many night parties, paint and sips. Like the social orgs on campus are like trying their best to do things. They have cook-offs and all types of cutesy stuff throughout the last 2 semesters. And I mean, it's cute, but it's definitely being on campus for 2 years and then having to be off. It's definitely a totally different ball game. Like, yeah, you're able to communicate, but I don't know you. I don't really want to, try to
Yeah.
make a friend through the computer screen. Like, it's not the same. So,
Wow. So we're pretty much all in the same boat here because I feel the exact same way in my school too. It's hard. It's hard for everyone. And I'm just praying this is going to be over because if I have to do another semester of Zoom University, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. But moving along, I know that you guys did talk about social life. Okay, so this is a two-part question. So let's say before COVID existed, how I know people hype up HBCUs like this is the best social experience you're going to have in your life. The parties are lit, the people are lit, everything is lit, everything is going on. Is that true? And like, is it, are you able to make friends? Are you able to even get into relationships? Is that an easier experience just because all of you are Black and you go to a predominantly Black school? So that's the first part of the question.
so
oh, you could go.
thank you, girl. So I
Yeah.
would say, yeah, no, it's true that like it's kind of lit as hell all the time. I don't like the dorm is lit. I made friends in a friend group where it was up and it was stuck. We were having fun 24/7. It didn't mean like we were always at a party, but we used to call my dorm Club 2104. Why? Because we'd be in there and we would just get lit in the dorm. Like you didn't have to go out. It was the energy there was just so like great. I and I needed that in my life. And as far as dating goes, I mean, look, Howard might as well be an all girl school. I haven't seen a fine man over 6 foot yet. Okay. And they all kind of, you would think that dating would be easier at an HBCU. And this is just my experience at Howard. But I think because there are a very limited pool, I always joke around like 0.8% of Howard's campus is dateable, you know? And
Oh,
so, and that, I mean, people find love. Me and Lacey met a girl freshman week. We were in line at a party, and there was a guy standing behind us and one girl, and we made friends with the two of them, and they're still together till this day. They met that night and fell in love and got an apartment and moved to DC. And I said, wow,
wow. That's
how's somebody
beautiful.
be God's favorite, right? Like, where's my Howard Huggy?
Right.
Yeah.
Repeat the question for me. I definitely got distracted by her story.
Sorry.
How was before COVID? Like, were you able to make friends, even relationships? Like, how was the social life?
Oh yeah. So first week coming to school, it was already, I don't want to say parties because that's not, that sounds really bad. But once we got to school, there was welcome week. And I mean that in that week, like you were able to socialize. Literally, once I got to school, my roommate was like really, really dope. Still talk to her to this day. I know people have really bad roommate experiences, but I had a great roommate. She also, before welcome week, we were able to have like a, I don't even know what it was called, but it was a weekend where we stayed on campus and like explored the campus and did a bunch of stuff. But like you were able to make friends then. So those friends that you met then were still your friends when you started school. And then we literally, you're walking out of class and they're probably having a party on, we call it University Ave, on the Ave. You walk out of class, they're having a party there. Why? Just because it's a random Wednesday. We do not know why they're having a party. Like stuff like that. Everyone is so friendly. Not everyone, let me not lie. Most people are very, very friendly. And coming from like New York, they're not as friendly
Yeah.
here as they are there. So like they're friendly. Everyone's not gonna be genuine. Like you just have to, know in yourself how to read people. But it's definitely a different vibe. Like I don't know if you just connect better because we're all black, and not only black people go to our school. So I mean, you might have other cultures you connect with, but I just feel it's I don't know. It was great before COVID. Now I don't know what's happening.
I agree with everything that everyone has said. Definitely, I would say it's lit all the time. They did not lie when they say that HBCUs are always going up with even with events, and there's something for everyone. So if you're not a party person, like I'm not necessarily somebody who always likes to go to a party, they can have like different levels to parties. If you don't like the club scene, you don't have to go to like a club because they'll have like college nights at clubs. So you don't have to go to that. They might have a kickback, that might be more your scene. They might have like a little game night, that could be your scene, or like your RA. Like I know for Howard, we had a very nice RA, Jordan and I, and she used to plan like little events for us. So that might be your little social time right there if you're not somebody who's super sociable. Like when your RA has events like once a month or so, you might go to that. Or we even like had times where we would all sit in the hallway and talk to everybody who's on our floor. So I can't speak for other dorms and like how other people got along with people in their dorm, even people other floors. But I know my floor, the second floor, we were like pretty close, and we had a group me that we used to talk in, and then we had like everybody. It's just a big sense of community. Like, and then because we're all, well, I guess not all from the same culture, but because it is predominantly black, like I mean, compared to other schools, you could go in the group me and say, does anybody have gel? Does anybody have a flat iron? Like you could ask for anything random and somebody's gonna have it. And they'll be like, yeah, girl, just come to my room, blah, 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 blah. And I like really appreciated that. As far as dating, yeah, finding a man at Howard University is definitely the Hunger Games. So 0 out of 10 would not recommend. You could definitely just, go off campus, I would say, and find somebody when they have those like crossover college parties or something. Or, I don't know, just hopefully you make a guy friend and it blooms into something. But I would not say go to a HBCU thinking that this is going to be your black love story. And if you do want that black love story, maybe Howard would not be the HBCU for you because that ratio is not it. Like other schools probably have more men, but Howard is not male dominated, so it's not the best.
Ooh, well, any eligible guys listening? Jordan, Aleysia, they're single. So hit them up.
Hold on now, Rachel,
Okay.
girl, because I didn't
What?
say that.
Like, I'm just trying to help you out, girl. Like, I know the
Wait
struggle. I know the
a
struggle.
minute. I did not say I was looking for a man on this podcast.
No, I'm just playing with you, girl. But it's so cool that you guys are able to have like that lit social experience. I guess it's true because I'm always hearing about it. And I feel like, I mean, we're all online right now, so all the freshmen probably are like, girl, I don't know what y'all talking about. But like they said before, like many clubs are trying to online make a lot of events and try to engage people together. So if you're about to go to HBCU, if you're a freshman right now, definitely tap into those so you could at least get a little bit of the action, even if it is virtual. But I know we got to wind down real soon. So my last question, which I think all of y'all alluded to a little bit, is how has being in an HBCU helped you learn more about your blackness, like as a black person? Do you think that it has achieved that by being there?
Oh, absolutely. Especially coming from predominantly white high school where I wasn't the standard for beauty and my culture was on the back burner all the time, you know. Um, like I said, coming to Howard, I surrounding myself around smart. I mean, these girls are intelligent. They're going you're looking at your next congressman, your next senators, your future neuro scientists and all that other good stuff. They're smart. And not only are they smart, but they're so pretty. They're just beautiful inside and out. Like you meet girls on Howard's campus, and we say it all the time in our group, me and Lacey's group chat. We're like, there is not an ugly girl on Howard's campus. They are beautiful and they're funny too. So it's like, wow, it was really a confidence booster to finally get around people who were like me in a sense, and that that definitely helped. And then to finally have my culture be at the forefront of what is going on, you grow, you just blossom as a person. I came back after one semester at Howard, and my friends back home were like, we don't even recognize you anymore. Like, who are you? And not in a bad way, but in a, you went away and you grew emotionally so much that it's like, wow, you're a whole new being.
Wow, that's amazing. I don't know if anyone else wants to comment.
I feel like she covered it. I don't have anything else to add to that.
All right,
A great response.
Jordan covered it. All right, that was an amazing way to end this. Thank y'all so much for joining me. How can people find you if they want to follow you or support anything that you're doing?
On my Instagram is Lacey Leysi .lace Leys. I'm also on Twitter. I be cutting up on there. I would not follow me if you are sensitive. And I'm also always talking about Howard. So, but my Twitter is Lacey Leysi Rain Rein. I'm also always open to answering my DMs, answering any questions. If anybody has any more questions about like HBCUs or about Howard specifically, you can always feel free to DM me. I'm also very nice and approachable. I know people like see my pictures and they're like, oh my God, she looks mean. But no, I promise. I'm super friendly.
They can catch me on Instagram at Jordan Jordan X McCray MCCRAY. I do have a Twitter, but for the life of me, I cannot think of what my handle is right now because I don't really use it. But same as Lacey, like DM me if you have any questions. I'll definitely answer, especially if it's about Howard. So yeah, hit me up.
And my Instagram is Tiara with 3 A's, TIARAAA_JAY. I think my Twitter is the same, but like Jordan, I don't really go on that thing. So yeah.
All right. Thank y'all so much. Y'all dropped some gems today. I definitely learned a lot. So thank y'all.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Yes, you're
thank you, Rachel. This was
welcome.
great.
All right, y'all. So it's time for the culture shout out. So I'm actually going to give two today because it's Black History Month. I'm in a really good mood. And these are both really great Black platforms. So I thought let's give a double take today. So the first culture shout out goes to Black Girl Convos. So if you're looking for some new Black content to listen to, then this is the page for you. Black Girl Convos is a page run by Angelique Dina, she, they pronouns, and Winrika Griffith, she, hers pronouns. And they are both Black students who attend PWIs and are actively resisting white supremacy at their institution. Each week, they host Black Girl Convos where they discuss a topic related to the Black and POC experiences. And they are both amazing people. They're talking real shit. It's entertaining, really great stuff. So if you're into that type of content, listening to important, wonderful convos, then definitely follow them on Instagram at Black Girl Convos to take a listen. And the second and last culture shout out for today goes to Sheila Crochet Apparel. So if you've been meaning to update your wardrobe, then definitely check this place out. So Sheila Crochet Apparel was founded by Sheila Agye Afari, who's a 16-year-old girl from England. If I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize. But her main focus is to create modern and wearable fashion that is handmade to measure. And her favorite things to make are sweaters as well as cardigans and tops. And they look so good. Y'all, so good. So it's pretty cold out there. I don't know where y'all live, but it's pretty cold on my end. And you know what will help with cold weather? Crochet sweaters. So if you're trying to warm yourself up or just update your closet a little bit, then definitely follow her on Instagram at Sheila underscore crochet apparel and check out her website at sheilacrochetapparel.company.site. And if you want to shout out a culture shout out, feel free to hit me up on Instagram at College for the Culture, and you could be featured next time. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. If you liked what you heard, subscribe to the podcast and give us a 5-star rating and review. We'd really appreciate it if you do. For more content or suggestions on what to talk about next, follow us on IG at College for the Culture. And if you want to consult with me about anything college related, email me at collegefortheculture@gmail.com. So take care of yourselves. God bless y'all. And don't forget that we see y'all and we got y'all. Bye.